What is up, guys? My name is Tom and welcome to Crosstalk, the channel on audio, microphones, and everything surrounding it. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk about the MKH50P48 from Sennheiser. This little guy, such a small microphone and such a wide sound, such a big sound. I really love this guy. This is a condenser that I have on loan from my good friend at atb.media. I'll put his link in the description. He makes some really cool video and audio projects. Check him out. He's a really cool dude. Thanks again for loaning me this mic. So this is a new channel. This is the first video I'm making on this channel. I'll make a little bit of an introduction, really short. I'm Tom. I really love microphones. I'm in love with microphones and audio and everything around it, surrounding it, whatever you want to call it. I really love audio, so that's why I'm making some reviews on some audio equipment. So let's talk about this little guy, shall we? This is a microphone. It's a condenser that has been around since 1988. They were really building up their MKH product line then, and they already had a couple of different pattern ones. For example, they already had a cardioid one, but they really wanted a super cardioid as well. This microphone is super cardioid. Most mics you see around, like the Neumann TLM 103, the Neumann U87, they are all cardioid microphones. So what that means is they have a heart shape pickup pattern. So they reject sound from the rear, so they have a pretty wide pattern of sensitivity going around like this. So this one is a super cardioid, which is a little bit different. So the super cardioid pattern is a little bit more focused. So it rejects sound from the rear a little bit more, from the sides a little bit more, and it has a small lobe of sensitivity in the rear of the mic actually, but it's a very small one. It's just a consequence of how it works. So it's a little bit different than a cardioid. Like cardioid is supposedly a little bit more versatile, but this one actually can be used for more specific applications, like for example, isolating a single instrument in a band or something like that. Or for example, this one is used a lot in audio video applications. So for example, when shooting a film, to really focus on a single subject without having to use a very long shotgun mic. This one is actually used for that a lot. Also for voiceovers, the MKH416 is used a lot, which is actually a shotgun mic with a very narrow lobe of sensitivity. This one is a little bit wider, so it's a little bit more forgiving. I can kind of move around the mic like this. You can tell the pickup pattern pretty much stays very consistent. When I move a little bit more, obviously you're gonna be able to tell that it drops off pretty quickly right then. So this is the mic just with no enhancement at all. It's running right now through a DBX 286S and a 166XS compressor going into my Audient ID14, which is my audio interface. So right now it has no enhancement at all, and we're going to kind of explore how this mic reacts to any kind of enhancement. So the first thing I'm going to do is put on a little noise gate, because it doesn't pick up too much environment noise. The room is a little bit treated, but I'm talking directly into a window, which will reflect some sounds back into it, and there's also a computer running and everything like that. So this will give you an impression of how the mic sounds dry, and it's up to you whether you like it or you don't like it. The mic is sitting right in front of me, not at an angle at all, so just right in front of me. One other thing I wanted to really talk about is the proximity effect on this mic. So when you get really close up to it, you can really tell how much the frequency response. I really have to watch out not to pop this mic. I'm really going in at an angle. But when you get really close, it gets super sensitive. And also the proximity effect with this mic is insane. So much low end that just gets added with this microphone when you get really close up to it. So really the most optimal position for me definitely is, for most mics, it's about this distance away. Just this distance is usually pretty good. And for this one as well, this seems to be the most optimal position for this mic. To counteract this proximity effect, there is a switch on there with a high-pass filter. I will now engage a high-pass filter on my channel strip. Right, so right now I have the high-pass filter on, so it will filter some of those low frequencies out. So when I get a little bit closer, you can still tell the frequency response changes, but it's a lot more bearable. So now we will actually add a little bit more bass to it. It's already very bassy, but I'm going to use the low-end enhancer right now on the DBX, which will also take out some more of those very low-end unwanted bass sounds, and it's going to add some juiciness to it. And then we're going to give it some high-end clarity as well. So this is typically how I'd probably use it in terms of enhancement. So you can really tell how this mic responds to any kind of EQing or enhancement. So I'm going to turn that off right now. And now I'm going to engage the noise gate so you can kind of tell how much noise there is. Right, so you should be able to tell the background noise is now completely gone, more or less. You can really tell that right now you don't hear anything, and this mic responds to that pretty well as well. It's not every mic. You know, some mics really still pick up so much noise that it still comes through the noise gate. Not this one. So really good performance on that. And now I'm going to give it a little bit more compression. Right, so now it's compressed a little bit, and so you can tell how I would typically use it. I'll also enhance it a little bit again. So there we go. This is typically how I would use this microphone. Not everybody will like how this sounds, but for me, this is really optimal for live streaming or any kind of that use like that. So this is typically how I would use the mic. You may like it, you may not like it. I'll put it back to completely dry right now. I always do think that is a very useful test, but you can tell this mic sounds very natural just on its own. It works really well. And it also has a 10 dB pad on there. I'll show you some footage of the 10 dB pad as well that's on there. So when you have a very loud source on it, it can also, you know, you can kind of reduce those very loud sounds. It has a 10 dB pad on there, so the mic won't be distorted in any way in the capsule itself. Right. So that was the little bit of an overview of the Sennheiser MKH50P48. I think it's a really neat mic. It's very useful, you know, for any kind of voiceover application, for videos, for you know, for just even a camera on a like a microphone on a camera, or a single instrument in a studio where you kind of want to isolate the rest of the band and still have, you know, a very focused pattern, but not too focused, so you can still kind of move around. So it's really good for vocals, for a singer that still want to be able to move around a little bit, but still the sensitivity will be a little bit more focused. So especially one more thing is important when you use this on a stage or anything like that. If you have monitors behind it, make sure you have them at kind of an 120-degree angle next to the mic. Otherwise, because of that little pattern in the back, that little pattern of sensitivity in the back, that could, you know, give it some feedback. So it will be good for those applications as well. So hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions about this mic, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.